All right, we're going to dive into something pretty deep today. We're going to explore a hidden, really powerful, and honestly often misunderstood part of our personality. It influences our lives in ways we rarely even see. And learning to face it, well, that's the key to becoming a more whole, more authentic person.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. You know that intense flash of anger? That little pang of jealousy? Or that selfish impulse that just pops into your head? We all have them, don't we? And what do? We push them down. We hide them, hoping no one will ever see that side of us. But here's the problem. The harder we push them away, the more control they secretly have over our lives.
So, what is this hidden part of us? This collection of impulses we try so hard to deny? The great Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, he gave it a name that's both simple and incredibly profound. He called it the shadow.
And here's the thing you've got to grasp. The shadow isn't inherently evil, not at all. It's simply the collection of everything we've decided we're not. It's where we store our fears and insecurities, sure, but it can also be where we've hidden some of our greatest strengths, our creativity, all the parts of us we were taught to suppress to fit in.
Now think about this for a moment. A baby doesn't have a shadow. They're a complete, totally unfiltered being, just pure potential. The shadow isn't something we're born with. It's something that's created. It's a side effect of growing up, of learning the rules of the world. To get love and approval from our parents, our teachers, our friends, we learn to perform. We build this social mask, what Jung called the persona. And every single trait that doesn't fit that shiny, perfect mask, our aggression, our vulnerability, our wildness, it gets shoved down into this sort of unconscious basement where it just lives on in the dark.
Okay, so if the shadow is unconscious, how in the world do we even know it's there? Well, because it doesn't stay in the basement forever. It leaks out. It finds ways to get our attention. And one of its favorite tricks is showing up in the faces of other people. This brings us to a really fascinating idea called projection. It's basically a defense mechanism. It's when we take an aspect of ourselves that we just cannot accept, and without even realizing it, we see it and attack it in someone else. It's our mind's clever little way of dealing with our own internal drama by turning it into an external one.
Come on, we've all been here. You meet someone and you have this immediate, intensely negative reaction to them. You just can't stand their arrogance or their laziness or how much attention they need, and it feels completely 100% justified. But this is the question that unlocks everything. Why that person? Why that specific trait? Out of all the flaws in the world, why does that one get under your skin with so much emotional force? The sheer energy of your reaction, that's the clue. Because here's the really uncomfortable truth. That intense emotional trigger is often a mirror. That arrogance you can't stand in someone else, it might just be a reflection of your own disowned confidence, a part of you that you were taught was too much or showy. You had to lock it away, and now you can't bear to see it expressed so freely by somebody else.
Now, projection is the big one, but the shadow's influence pops up in other ways too. I'm talking about those sudden, irrational bursts of anger that come out of nowhere, that intense, gut-wrenching jealousy, that tendency to judge others super harshly, or maybe always finding yourself playing the victim. These aren't just random flaws. They are symptoms of a part of us that is desperately trying to be seen.
So recognizing the shadow, that's the first huge step. But then what? What do you do with it? Jung called this process shadow work, and it's really a path toward becoming whole again. And we have to make a really critical distinction here. The goal isn't to get rid of your anger or your fear or your selfishness. You can't. They are part of being human. The goal is to bring them out of that dark basement and into the light of your awareness. That's where you can understand them, manage them, and even find the hidden gift inside them. So how's it done? Well, it starts with awareness, just noticing your projections. The next time you have one of those big negative reactions, just pause and ask yourself, wait a minute, what is this really about? Step 2 is radical honesty. This is the hard part. It's daring to admit, you know what, maybe in some small way, I have this trait in me too. And finally, integration. This is where you find the gold in the darkness. That raw energy of aggression, for instance, can be channeled into healthy ambition or powerful assertiveness. You're not destroying the energy, you're transforming it.
Look, this work is challenging. There's no doubt about it. It takes real courage and humility. But the rewards for going on this journey,
They're absolutely profound. It's all about moving from a state of constant inner conflict to a state of wholeness. When you stop wasting all that energy pushing parts of yourself down, that energy is freed up for other things. You become so much more self-aware. Your relationships deepen because they're based on real honesty. And you develop this authentic confidence that isn't just a fragile mask. The great irony here is that by turning to face the darkness you've ignored, you don't become darker. You actually become brighter, more vibrant, and way more authentically alive.
And this brings us to the ultimate goal. See, the aim of this whole journey isn't to be perfect. That's an impossible, exhausting facade. The true aim is to be whole, to accept and integrate every single part of who you are, the light and the dark. That's where you find true peace and authentic power. So, to kind of wrap this all up, let's end with one last spa, a starting point for your own journey inward.
This is maybe Jung's most famous, most powerful thing he ever said on the topic. It's a huge reminder that what we don't own ends up owning us. Those unconscious patterns from the shadow will run our lives, creating the same problems over and over again, and we'll just be convinced it's bad luck or fate.
So, here it is, the final question. Think of that one thing, that one trait that drives you absolutely crazy in other people. Their arrogance, their weakness, their loudness, their laziness, whatever it is, that's your starting point. That is where your shadow is calling out for your attention. Daring to look for that trait in the mirror, that is the first courageous step on the path to wholeness.